All right, good morning, Quad Cities. It is Wednesday, February 4th, and it is 9 o'clock. Actually, it's 9:05, but we are here. It's a brand new episode of Ask Andrew Live. Welcome in. I'm meteorologist Andrew Stutzky.
I am meteorologist Morgan Strackbine. I'm trying to pull up
the little live chat.
Get the little live chat going, because obviously we are constantly monitoring and looking at your questions. But obviously, you know, the reason why we're kind of a little delayed right now is because we've got the new 8 to 9 o'clock streaming show on our WQ80 8 Plus app. So it's like that transition period. We just need a couple minutes. But also, you were gathering a couple of extra things to talk about for today, because it's a pretty big thing that has happened, and we were just discussing it. I feel like, in all transparency, mixed feelings behind it, but we're going to see how it goes. Hopefully, it goes better than expected.
That's our hope anyway.
Yeah.
We want to make it as easy as possible. I'm going to forewarn you, it's a heavy lift today.
It is.
Because we're going to be talking about something brand new that the Storm Prediction Center is going to start doing starting next month.
Mm-hmm. Which is the start of our severe weather season.
Yes.
I mean, March, we start to talk about, you know, it's our biggest temperature change for average temperatures. So when you have to think about that happening across the entire United States, we start getting those big changes across the region, and that's what drives a lot of these storm systems. So it's very interesting. So we're basically deep diving with you into this new kind of forecast method.
Yeah, you'll be learning it just about the same time that we're going to be learning the ins and outs of it. So you picked a good day to tune in. I want to thank you for joining us this morning. If you're brand new, welcome. We do this every single Wednesday, by the way, right here on the 8 Plus app. We also simulcast on Facebook. So if you know a weather weenie friend or weather nerd friend like we are, give it a share. Say, hey, have you seen this? Have you seen this really cool show where they do a deeper dive into weather? It's the Quad Cities' only half-hour streaming show dedicated to just weather.
Yeah, and you can ask any question. Doesn't matter what the content is. Doesn't matter if it's what we're talking about. If you just quite literally want to know anything that has to do with weather. And we have a couple of other tidbits into things that can tie into the atmosphere. But yeah, and it also helps us because obviously Ask Andrew, he does his little questions every single week, which is kind of, this is the extension of it. So we also get a lot of ideas from you guys during these things.
Exactly. Where do you think my questions come from? A lot of them come from the show right here. So keep them coming. And if you have that question, it's right here at the bottom of your screen. That is the number you want to text. If you're on the simulcast on Facebook, just leave a comment. Put it right in there. Yeah, we're going to monitor that chat throughout. So how this works is we start with a little weather chat, what's going on now. We'll look at the questions I answered this week, the 2, and then we'll jump right into our topic, which will be that new way the SPC will be doing severe weather outlooks this spring. The weather this morning, not a fan.
It's chilly, but it's also like typical, I feel.
Yes.
It's like, you know, at this point, I just know it's going to be cold. I understand, like, I already see a comment about the cold. I am ready for it to leave us behind too, but we're still in February. It's still going to be cold. You kind of have to pack your patience at this point. But I've been looking at temperatures, and regardless, we do start to see our temperatures increase this month, which is hopeful. I'm already starting to see it. And when you think about it, even with the Climate Prediction Center really quickly, they released their most recent outlook, and we're expected in at least the first half of February to be above normal. Second half of February, didn't love that one because it puts us back into a colder than normal.
Yes.
But by the end of the month, our average, you have to think about average temperature. We're in the 40s at that point.
That's right.
So colder than normal is anything below 40. Upper 30s I'll take. Mid 30s I'll take.
Yeah.
At that point. So it gets harder to get, it's going to start to get harder to get locked in those cold spells like we've been.
It is. Like Morgan said, they're going to become less intense and they become quicker. They move in and out more quickly. So there's a lot to be said about the month of February, and that we're gaining daylight nearly about 2.5 minutes a day, and the sun is getting stronger.
Yes, it is.
We're getting that angle to get a little bit higher in the sky. So it all works in our favor. Even this morning is a good example. We got down to 5 degrees this morning.
I saw that.
Yeah. And look where we are now.
We're already in the teens.
This is insane. So the sun is already doing its job, and I think we're still on track to hit around 30 this afternoon. maybe even a bit higher if you don't have snow on the ground. The wind chills this morning, they were a little bitey around Clinton, but the lowest number I saw was 15 below, and it was only in Clinton. Now everyone is above 0 for wind chills, so already a sign that we're starting to see that stronger February sun take hold. Why did it get so cold this morning? It was the perfect setup, as Peter explained last night, if you watched the evening newscast, radiational cooling. High pressure right overhead, clear skies, calm winds, all the warmth we had from the sun yesterday, straight up into the atmosphere.
All gone. When you get clouds, I like to call it the blanket effect. It's kind of like it traps in some of that heat a little bit more, or that warmth that you have. But if you've got clear skies and you've got northerly winds, no doubt about it, we are going to get pretty chilly overnight.
Yeah. And that's exactly what happened. But now we have the sun, full sunshine today, low 30s. We'll get clouds tonight that will save us from another free fall, because there's another Alberta Clipper system on the way that will bring some snow showers tomorrow. By the way, those don't look impressive at all. Only northeast of the Quad Cities, mid to late morning, perhaps a dusting there. I think the bigger snow will remain to the northeast of us, into northeast Illinois, and also into parts of Indiana and Ohio, where some of our sister stations there have a weather impact alert in place tomorrow for that snow, as they're expecting it to mess up the evening commute. But there's what it looks like here, and it's just a dusting at best for most of us as you go northeast of the Quad Cities.
Yeah, and I was looking at that too. A lot of this, and I was looking at the temperatures tomorrow, 40 degrees.
Yeah. So it's that time of year too, where even if it does snow, it's not going to stick around.
And like even when you get to 40 before those snow systems at this point, the ground can hold on to some of that warmth. So we're kind of heading into the season that it does melt pretty quickly upon impact. 50s, wait, I didn't even
She's like,
look
hold the
at
phone,
this.
hold the phone. What is that next Monday, Tuesday?
50s? That's my weekend.
Yes.
56?
Yeah, I had to crank it up this morning.
I'm actually very shocked.
Yeah.
Listen, I just got off my weekend. Obviously, I just said Monday, Tuesday's my weekend. I don't really look much at the forecast. And I know how much can change in 48 hours.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great, pleasant surprise.
Isn't that remarkable?
I'm so excited. And the funniest thing, and I keep talking about it with Dave and Darren, is they love our forecast contest. And I can't believe that I'm still within shot to win again this year.
You are. If we keep this quiet, no heavy snow pattern around, you're a shoo-in to win.
I know.
No doubt.
And I really was like, there's no chance. At the beginning of this year, I was like, there's no chance. I thought that Thanksgiving winter storm was like a prediction of like, you guys are just going to get dumped on.
What's to come.
Yeah.
It didn't happen.
I'm not mad about it.
It's
All
been
right.
so quiet. So yeah, that's some good news for you. And good news for us too, because we get to enjoy the 50s coming up.
I know.
Which we love. We'll go really quick. I'm only going to deal with one of the questions because this was a good reminder this morning. And I want to save time too for this severe weather thing because again, it's a heavy lift. But this was a reminder that someone had asked me to put out there this morning regarding when you need to have your headlights on. We had a scenario a couple of times last month, especially where we had fog in the daytime. And I think a lot of us, we get used to so much automation in our vehicle, the automatic headlights, some of you have the automatic wipers and all that thing, that you have to remember sometimes you need a manual override in that situation.
I mean, for me, it's just my common practice because I know whenever I am in rain or fog, I appreciate it when other people have their low beams on.
Yeah.
Because for me, I can see your car better. So I just, that's what I do. I just turn my low beams on no matter what. If it's raining, wipers on, headlights on, that's what we say.
That's exactly, and that's actually the law in Illinois. The law in Illinois states if you're using your windshield wipers, you have to have your headlights on. In fact, the newer vehicles, if your wipers are on for a set number of minutes, usually it's 1 or 2 minutes, your headlights actually automatically come on. So a lot of car manufacturers are doing that. It's not so specific in Iowa in regards to the windshield wipers, but they still say when you're in fog, snow, sleet, or rain that limits your sight, you need to have your headlights on. And again, the biggest offender is that daytime fog. Anytime we get daytime fog, we think the light's out, You can see the road. It's not like nighttime where everything's dark. But the problem is you still are not very visible to other cars around you, even though it's daytime. That's why it's so important to override your automatic headlights and put your light switch on the blue dot when you've got that daytime fog.
Yeah, and I am, I mean, obviously everyone knows their own cars. I got, it gives you that signal on your dashboard if your
Yeah.
lights are on. And I have automatics if my lights don't kick on. Because sometimes it is dark enough that my sensor will pick it up. If it's not, I just override it.
Yeah.
But that's just, again, that's just something that I've just gotten used to at this point. And I think it's very hard for us because we're on a completely divided state line with
Yes.
2 different laws. At this point, I think it's just, you just practice it.
Yeah.
If it's foggy, if it's raining, if it's snowing, just turn those headlights on. Not only, it's really not for you, it really is for other cars, which in turn is gonna keep everyone safer on the road.
Exactly. And that's the only unfortunate thing about the automation is your car is not able to distinguish what your visibility is. It could be, again, foggy during the day. It's very bright. Fog tends to make it bright because it's all these mirrors in the air. But your car doesn't know that. Your car doesn't know that you have no visibility in front of you. So that's why it requires just that extra step to turn it on. And then, of course, don't forget to turn it back off once you reach your destination. Most cars are going to ding, ding, ding the living dickens out of you if you forget
Unless
to turn
you
it
have
off.
my car.
Oh, yours
my
doesn't
car?
tell you?
No, my car automatically, no matter when you turn it off. If you have a dome light on, it will automatically turn it off.
That's
I will
awesome.
never have to worry about leaving a light on. That would drain my battery.
That's a feature that I wish a lot of cars had.
I know. I don't know why that's
mine's
not
got
common.
it, but yeah, it should be a common.
I know. When I learned about that, I was like, I never have to worry about that? That's
Yeah.
great.
Modern technology is wonderful in that case.
I know.
But yeah, the bottom line is just even if you're not sure,
Yes, just turn it off.
be on the safe side, turn them on. A lot of your fellow travelers would appreciate it, especially those around you. It's much easier to see you, and it won't make your insurance go up if you get involved in an accident.
And low beam.
And low beam, yes. Don't do the high beam.
Not high beam. That's going to make it way worse for you.
Mm-hmm.
Not for other people, but for you. It's going to make it way worse.
Exactly. Don't make it worse for you and others around you. Now we get to talk about, again, a topic both of us and you at home are going to be seeing for the first time in practice here. And I want to caution this with the sample graphic we put together may not be the final product that we start using next month, but it's something we've kind of put together to see this might work. And I want to get your feedback at home on this too, to see what you think about it. So let's start with what the change is going to be. So what the change is, the Storm Prediction Center is going to start issuing conditional intensity forecasts. What does that mean? It means that they're going to give us and you at home more information to help you make a decision about the type of severe storms that are going to be coming in. So right now, the Storm Prediction Center tells you the probability of seeing severe thunderstorms, but they really don't tell you how intense or how severe these storms are going to be, per se.
Yeah. And like when we've been talking about risk levels, obviously, if you're in that 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5, you know that your risk in that forecast is greater. But when we're breaking down severe weather, there's different elements to what
Right.
makes a severe weather storm, or severe thunderstorm, whether it is wind, gusts at least up to 58 miles per hour. A tornado automatically makes it severe, and then hail up to an inch in size.
Yes.
And sometimes there's different areas where they're more concerned depending on boundaries and different elements because the atmosphere can change. Both planes, X, Y axis, Z axis, whatever it is, it can
yes.
change mile to mile, honestly. So I think what they're trying to do is to try to nail down even more where some of those more severe concerns can be when
Yeah.
you're breaking down these certain levels.
It comes down to the more information that we have, the more information that you have, the more likely you're going to act upon it.
It's just going to take, I think what makes us a little, it's not nervous, but it's going to take more time to maybe digest for
Yes.
us to figure out how to convey it to you in the best way. Because like I said, obviously we're forecasting for Eastern Illinois, Northwestern Illinois, Eastern Iowa. Still area, and
yeah.
it can change across the board. So that can just, it just causes one extra thing to talk about when we're already limited sometimes.
Yeah, I'm already, in my mind, I'm already saying, okay, when we have a severe weather day, automatically the producers, I'm going to need at least 30 to 45 extra
Yeah.
seconds here on a newscast for weather to kind of explain what this is.
Yeah.
Because you're used to seeing what we have on the screen right now on the left-hand side of your screen. You're used to seeing this. Now, granted, we use a different color table here compared to what the Storm Prediction Center uses, but it's the usual, level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then if you are a weather weenie or you get curious and you go to the Storm Prediction Center website, they give you a little bit more detail, including these lined and hashed and dashed zones. So what's changing is we're still going to keep the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 scale. We're still going to keep these tornado zones and hail zones and wind zones. But what we're adding is what's right above the WQAD logo on the bottom of your screen. It's the intensity. It's a scale of 1 to 3. That's what's changing. So what we're doing is we're now going to pinpoint exactly where the most intense storms are likely going to develop and how intense each one of those elements of the storm, from tornadoes to hail to wind, will be. And this is where it's going to get a little confusing because the scales, depending on what we're looking at, the category, are changing. So, for example, tornado intensity levels, there's 3 of them. Wind intensity levels, there's 3 of them. But hail intensity, there's only 2 of them. There's not 3. So again, this is what we're having, this conversation about, is how we're going to communicate this. Also, like I told Morgan, it's a little confusing when you look at the tornado intensity scale, which is the top group, where it says intensity level 1, a max expected EF2. That would mean if we're in a SIG 1, say here in the Quad Cities, we would expect the tornado strength to top out at EF2 strength. But there's kind of some confusion because there's a plus symbol next to that, indicating you could potentially see something stronger than that.
And I think I understand scientifically where it's at, because it's accounting for the outliers and that, the atmosphere gets chaotic.
Oh, yes.
And you have to account for those certain situations where those things can get stronger. Unfortunately, people want to know exactly what to expect.
Right.
So that kind of causes, I think, a little bit of, I don't know.
You want to somehow meet that demand, but you want to be reasonable about it.
Yeah.
You want to set an expectation that this is the potential. It's not a guarantee, but these are the kind of conditions and the kind of strength we can see.
And I understand it. I mean, I think the more information, the better.
Yeah.
And honestly, for us, it does kind of help our forecasting abilities get just a little bit quicker, because we can read it a little bit faster and maybe digest it more. But it's the communication aspect that might just take a little bit longer. But as long as we all work together.
Exactly. We're going to do this as a group. And we're going to make this work this severe weather season. So back to the scale there, obviously, 3, this is a scale 1 to 3. If you see a 3, that means we're really expecting some really extreme weather. And I'm using that term extreme because that's the term we use for an EF4 tornado. It is extreme. It gets more extreme, of course, with an EF5, and notice they don't put that here on the scale. But who's to say that couldn't be added later? But I wanted to show you this new scale. And also look at the wind intensity. Notice now how it is theoretically possible, if we were under a level 2 intensity forecast, we could throw out the D word, the derecho word.
And that's changed over the past year. They actually did change the definition of derecho last May. And it's to help, because, all of us have always learned, and in the meteorological world, you can't define a derecho until a derecho happened. You just can't. You can't forecast it.
Right.
It has to be happening. And you can kind of start to you can watch the radar enough and you can understand, this is kind of taking place, but it has to meet all the requirements, like width or the length of the storm, the amount of time that it's on the ground, the wind gusts in a 3-hour period, all of those things have to be met for it to be a derecho. But I've seen that they're changing the definition, so I think that we can, because they're becoming more common, we've been seeing them more. They've been getting more intense, which means that word's being thrown out a lot more.
Yeah.
It makes sense to me to start to maybe have those conversations. And I will say in the definition, they basically have said like hurricane force winds on the
Yes.
ground.
Exactly. Yeah, it gives us a little bit more. It gives the message itself a little bit more bite. If you see, an ongoing bow echo, for example, and you see the conditions ahead of it are really supportive for that thing to maintain itself, the Storm Prediction Center can then go up to that intensity level 2 and say, hey, folks downstream, you should prepare for the potential of seeing derecho-like conditions.
And I feel like, honestly, what they're doing, Storm Prediction Center, NOAA, National Weather Service, the word derecho has been getting thrown out a lot, even by meteorologists in the broadcast industry. And I love my schooling. I really adore, or I really kind of take after, what I have learned. And like, this is what it is. I'm not going to go outside of what I've learned and try to throw out my own 2 cents on top of it. But like, it makes it really hard for everyone, because it's like, you can't really say a derecho was expected, because we know that's not, you just can't say
do it
that.
ahead of time, yeah.
You can't say that. We've always learned that. We always know that. But I understand as well, when you are looking at models and you're looking at the conditions of the atmosphere as a meteorologist, you can put 2 and 2 together, that it is primed for a derecho to occur. So I think this is where we're starting to find that like middle ground, especially because derecho has been such a popular term, especially for us, since 2020, we all know.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think this is going to be a good, maybe early opportunity to kind of trial using that terminology in a forecast aspect and see how well that jives, how well that plays out.
Because I think also for us, we had the 2020 derecho, which is honestly one of the worst derechos
in this country's
history. Not all derechos are going to be like that.
No, it's not going to be the same.
So that's why I think I was always so like hesitant about talking about it, because I feel like our area, when they hear the word derecho, they're like freaking out immediately, because we did experience one of the worst in the country. But that's honestly, I hope, a once in a lifetime event for this area.
Yeah, I hope we don't see that anytime soon again.
Yeah.
That was awful, devastating. So there's the tornado, there's the wind. Now the hail, there's only 2 categories. And I can see why it's only 2 categories. You're either going to get severe hail or you're going to get extreme hail. There really is no in between.
Yeah, it's either going to be non-damaging or damaging. I have hail damage on my car. You have hail damage on your car.
Exactly. Yeah. Both of us coming from that experience. Yeah. You're going to have one or you're going to have the other. There's no in between.
Yeah.
So that's why there's only 2 categories for hail. And usually hail is the least of most people's concern when it comes to severe thunderstorms. I think everybody
It's
goes
usually
right.
cosmetic.
Yeah, that too, exactly. It's all cosmetic. It can be easily fixed. Though, of course, it is a headache if you have to go through insurance. So let's summarize this, and then I'll show you what the example graphic looks like. So the old way is on the left. The only thing I didn't add in there were the tornado zones wind, because that's still on a scale of 1 to 5. So we're still going to keep the 1 to 5 scale showing you the probability of seeing severe weather. That does not go away. That stays the same. What we're doing, though, is we're going to break that 1 to 5 down into a 1 to 3 scale and bring in a little bit more detail. So in addition to showing you the 1 to 5 scale, we're going to break down where we think the most intense tornadoes are going to occur. We're going to tell you basically ahead of time, what type of tornadoes are we going to see today? Are these going to be weak, strong, severe, extreme? What kind of wind intensity are we going to see today? That's on a scale of 1 to 3. And then, of course, the scale of 1 to 2 for hail intensity. So here's what that will potentially look like on a map. So again, the 1 to 5 is not going away. But say, for example, it's a severe weather day in the Quad Cities. What we would be able to do is, if there was a tornado threat involved, we would bring up this tornado intensity map from the Storm Prediction Center on their scale of 1 to 3, from strong to severe to extreme, and we'd be able to tell you, okay, if you're south of Princeton, especially Peoria, you've got a really decent chance at seeing some really intense weather today. In fact, this is my fault. I didn't update the color scale. I decided at the last minute with Peter yesterday, we were like, you know what? I think orange, red, and then the purple
Got it.
would have been the better color. So I can update that really quick because that's a really bad example. But I don't want to confuse anybody again. But yeah, let me update this really quick. Again, we can do this on the fly. It'll take me 2 seconds. This will be a better explanation, and then I can also share this too.
Oh, yeah. I think
looks
that
a
also
little bit
helps with the eye.
Yeah,
Differentiate colors.
it kind of gets your attention a little bit more there. I think it was this color. So that's what it would look like. So obviously, the brighter that color, the more damage you're going to potentially see, the more catastrophic damage you're going to see.
Yeah, I mean, I totally understand it because also with the old way, I think it helps break it down into more what threat you're seeing. Again, like we've been talking about derechos and windstorms and wind events have been, for us especially, I think a little more common than a tornado outbreak. So I think that kind of helps categorize like what kind of storm systems are you dealing with. Tornado outbreaks, more than likely, it's usually super cellular. They're usually the pockets that you see rather than the line that you see. That's usually the wind event that we get, which again, we have been seeing a lot more commonly, I'd say, as of late. Not to say you can't get tornadoes and derechos, you absolutely can, but they're usually short-lived, very, very fast, usually pretty weak because the storm itself is just so strong, it usually overtakes it, but I think that's gonna help for sure.
It will definitely, I think, absolutely help with the wind events because we've seen, like you said, so many of those. It's going to be nice to be able to differentiate those a little bit more, get a little bit more specifics. So what you see there behind us, that's one example. Of course, there will be 3 different maps. There'll be tornado, there'll be wind, and there'll be hail. And they'll all have this same color scheme, except hail. You've only got 2 colors to work with. But again, it's just another area of information, another nugget, another piece that we can give you to help you plan how you're going to deal with this event as it rolls through. You have more information, you know how intense it's going to be, and you can better prepare, especially if you're in for example, a mobile home, or maybe the school superintendents. They see a map like this. If this was right over the Quad Cities as a school superintendent, I'm on high alert all day. I'm thinking, okay, worst case scenario, the school gets blown away. Where are these kids gonna go? Do we get them out of here now? Do we cut school early? What do we do? So this is what the goal of that is. It's not to confuse you more. It's not to confuse us more. I see where they're coming from, the Storm Prediction Center. They want to arm us with more information because their studies with the psychological experts, the psychology folks, have said the more information you have, the more likely you're going to act on it.
More likely you're going to act on it, and hopefully the more likely you're prepared for yourself, because I also know storm anxiety is huge.
It is, yeah.
People really worry about it. I was somebody who was very much like that as a child. So I think that's also kind of, because anytime that we're talking about these severe events and going into these details, it's not to cause fear, it's just to prepare. Because I will say, 5 times out of 10 in your forecasted area, you're not going to be in that area. It's the forecasted area. You have to think about how small you are compared to that. So
exactly.
But so long you're prepared, everything's good.
Everything will be just fine. So I know we went a little long, but I wanted to spend some extra time on that because, again, it's a big change. Now, this is not the last time we're going to talk about it. I believe we're going to probably pull this in for the severe weather special that's coming up next month. And there'll probably be some other stories that we'll sprinkle in too. So I want you guys, if at any point during this severe weather season, if you have questions regarding this, just reach out to any one of us. It can be email, it can be Facebook. We will happily guide you through this. And of course, when we do our live chats here on a severe weather day, ask about it. We'll tell you exactly how this is going to work.
And I will say we are kind of like, we work really closely with the National Weather Service. We're kind of the liaison between, though they are literally, their sole purpose is to continuously update and do the forecast. We don't have all that time.
Right.
We are trying to convey the messages to you while also doing that on our own end. So we are basically like the liaisons between them. So it's the more feedback we get from the general public and that we can relay to the NWS, it is a good, thing going on, because not everyone knows how to reach out to the NWS. I mean, it's a
Exactly.
government sector. It's kind of difficult to get in contact with them.
Exactly.
So it's always good to get feedback. It's always good to get questions so we can help. We just all help each other, basically.
That's right. It's a team group effort.
is.
We're all in this together, like the song says. I won't sing it for you. You don't want to hear that with this cold that I've got going on. But it's a nifty little tune. It's a toe tapper.
Do we want to try to do a speed round?
Yes, let's
Okay.
get through our questions real quick, and we'll see what you got for us this morning.
All right. Billy says, good morning. Noticed back when the southern states went through the ice storm, it wasn't tagged as PDS. My question for you is why it wasn't tagged as PDS, and if it had been in our area, would it have been? Do they use tag?
I can't say I've ever seen a PDS ice storm warning.
I think the only time they put PDS is with severe events, like severe thunderstorm or tornado warning.
Yeah.
I think it has to be a polygon, like in itself, like a warning, for it to have a PDS tag. It can't just be the
whole county filling big.
I don't know what I'm trying. There's a word for it. What they put out are like advisories and our tornado watches and tornado warnings, which I get. But yeah, it's. I think that it's the polygon in itself that you can only have that PDS tag.
As far as I know, too.
Riley, she is checking in.
All right, good morning, Riley.
Why did the mist go to school?
Why did the mist go to school? Why did the mist go to school?
To clear its vision.
Oh, to clear its Oh, my goodness.
I get it.
She's got some good ones.
I know. Okay, and then also passing on a question I received from a friend in pre-K. They want to know what makes the sky look gray.
Oh, like with the clouds? What makes the clouds look gray? Very good question.
That is what we call me scattering. Is the
Yes.
actual terminology to it. It's the same reason why the sky is blue, but it's not me scattering. It's what we call Rayleigh scattering. So when we have cloud cover, sun's rays are hitting the clouds. All those water droplets are basically reflectors all throughout the clouds and messing with the lights and the wavelengths of the sun's rays. And basically it's just all jumbled together and it just gives that gray appearance. When the sky is blue, especially at like high noon where the sun is directly over you, you get these really short wave, what we call short wave radiation. And if you're looking at, if we get really into if we get into the specifics of it, on the, is it the EM scale, the
electromagnetic scale?
Yeah, the electromagnetic scale of visible light when you're looking at Roy G. Biv. We can't see violet, so blue is the next shortest one.
Yep, that's the predominant
And that is
color.
why it is blue. I've done so much on that because I just like,
question.
that is a great question.
And a great explanation, too. You handled that beautifully.
Is this the last cold day for a while?
I think it's the last single-digit cold day for a while. We will get cold again. Will it be as extreme as January? No. Sun's getting stronger.
All right, if you could change one thing, I like this question. If you could change one thing about how people respond to weather warnings, what would it be?
It is that I wish people took them more seriously and didn't get so angry or / disappointed when nothing happens. I never really understood that mindset of, if your place is under a tornado warning and then you don't get hit by a tornado, some people actually get upset about that.
I'm like, why would you be upset
Yes.
about that?
I don't understand it. They say it's crying wolf and all that, but it's like, you know what?
Well, and I understand, like, you're canceling plans and all
Right,
that stuff,
right.
but you're safe.
Exactly.
Why are you mad about that?
Yeah.
It's like, just because it didn't happen to you, it could have happened 10 miles away from you.
Right.
And you would have never known. Like, you quite literally could have never known. It's just, I think it's just in terms we need to change the mentality to be like, oh,
Thank goodness
lucky
I'm
that we're
okay.
safe and I'm okay.
Yeah. I don't gotta call Mr. Jake to cover my roof and all that.
Exactly.
So, yeah, exactly.
Can you discuss false streak holes in mammatus clouds and how they form?
So the hole punch clouds.
Yeah.
Yes. It deals with a very, very small concentrated area of sinking air. The majority of hole punch clouds are actually caused by aircraft. landing
Oh.
and taking off.
I
They're
didn't even think
punching
about
through
that.
the clouds, yes.
That makes sense. And then Mammatus clouds are also sinking, but associated usually with severe thunderstorms. You'll usually see them.
It's like an upside down cumulonimbus cloud.
Exactly. All right. Another joke. Why does it seem so bone chilling cold? Because the skeletons went back into their graves.
After Halloween.
I know. And then question, when it comes to ice accumulation, how much ice does it take to bring down trees and power lines? A quarter inch of ice can, I think it's a quarter inch. A quarter inch of ice can add 500 pounds to power lines, which can start
Yes.
bringing them down.
That has a big problem. Big problem.
Will we ever get to build a snowman? We were supposed to yesterday, then it melted.
Oh, no. Don't give up hope yet. You can still get snow all through March.
And I will say the snowman building snow is when you want it to be a little warm.
Yeah.
You want that packing, not the dry, fluffy stuff with the cold we've had, which is now kind of what we would see going forward into February, especially the later.
Exactly.
With the last 2 very small accumulation of snow, where do you all currently stand with totals? I think I have 2 inches.
I think you do too. I wish I had it in our software here, but I could probably pull it up really quick on the online designer here. It's the contest is still, we have some big gaps. Not Morgan, but the rest of us do. We have some really big gaps that are still ongoing. Let's see. It wasn't that long. I just updated
I
it.
know.
Of course, it's going to probably take a minute to get it there. Is it not in here?
I
Are
know
you
you
failing
updated
me? I know I didn't update it that long ago. Oh my goodness. Are you serious? The internet's failing me right now. It's not coming up.
Oh, you definitely updated it way.
Yeah, it was way before this.
All I know is I think I have about 2 inches, and my forecast was 13.7.
Oh yeah.
And I have about 2 inches of wiggle room until we hit that.
You've got, yeah, you have plenty of wiggle room that you can still get through. Yeah.
We'll see. Riley says this will help me out with my weather anxiety a lot. Thank you for always helping me understand if I need to panic or not during severe weather events. Very much appreciated.
Hey, happy to help.
All right, last question. Tyler, with the new maps, what about flash flooding? Usually with flash flooding, it's usually not associated with the severe criteria. That is more so looking at, you're looking at a lot more factors. Where is our ground saturation at? Where are river levels at? How much rain are we supposed to get? Is it supposed to be a ton of rain and downpours? And there's a lot more factors in which the National Weather Service, that's where our local office will start to take over.
Yep.
But when we're talking about the severe storms, that's where the Storm Prediction Center is really is looking at the United States as a whole. But they're not really paying close attention to the rainfall because you can have, not much rain in a severe thunderstorm.
You can, yeah.
Yeah.
It can be very limited.
It can be very, very little.
And it's 2 separate agencies, by the way, too.
Yes.
It's SPC does severe weather. It's WPC.
Yes, Weather Prediction Center.
That does the rainfall.
So many
unfortunately, you got 2 different companies, if
We
you
got the
will,
Climate
going on.
Prediction
Yeah.
Center. There's so many different aspects that we're
Yeah.
looking at. So it is a lot of different things. But that's a good question. Yeah, usually, and then our local office will also kind of help us monitor that a little bit more because it knows, again, Storm Prediction Center, Weather Prediction Center, they can't really go into those specifics to be like, what is your ground moisture at?
Right.
What
we don't
is?
have time for that, yeah.
They can't do that for the entire United States. That's,
Our local office is a better expert on that.
yes.
Yeah.
All right, that's it.
We got them all, and we kept you a little bit longer, but you know what? It was
know.
worth it.
It was.
Because this was a big, important topic that I wanted to talk about today. So thanks for hanging around a little bit longer. Maybe we'll cut you loose early next week. We'll see what happens with that. I want to thank you for coming in this morning.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
course.
Yeah, we've learned a few things or two. So come on back next week, same time, same place, 9 o'clock, right here on the 8 Plus app. Have a great Wednesday, Quad Cities.